Introducing the new party. We live stream Monday through Thursday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
It's gonna come out how it come out. You feel me? Yo, none of this is rehearsed. Everything is off the top.
Vulgar. Welcome to the man cave.
Yo, welcome back to the man cave on this Wednesday night. Trying to help y'all get through the rest of this week. All right, as y'all see, the main event. We're gonna get to that, but we got a few things to discuss. Y'all know we keep it raw here, unfiltered. We give our honest opinions. And I'm Vulgar.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Enzo.
I'm the Ratchet Christian.
All right, welcome. We have Ratchet Christian, and here is our guest tonight. You have anything you would like to say, introduce yourself?
No, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. I'm a fan of the show, so it's great to get to join you guys tonight, and I'm excited to learn something new. I'm actually here to learn. I want to know what you guys know about the topic, so yeah.
All right. Hope you're a fan of me, because most people they get mad at me for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Oh, I like people that other people get mad at, so we'll see. We'll see.
Let's see. Go ahead and get us started. All right. I'm going to run the first video.
All right.
On camera brawling last week outside the home of former President Barack Obama in Washington. Now, one of the women is heard radioing in, quote, "I need a supervisor out here immediately before I whoop this girl's." So the Secret Service says it is aware and it calls it unacceptable.
That's unacceptable behavior.
You would expect them to say
Yes.
that. It says those involved have been suspended and an investigation is underway. According to the Daily Beast, the female officer who made the call was angry because her shift replacement was late. There's also some reporting that she brought the wrong vehicle to relieve her in when she arrived.
All right. Ratchet Christian, since you're the guest, you can go first.
I just think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious, but it really just speaks to, I feel like what's going on in America in general. Like we're just all unhinged. Everybody is unhinged from the very top of the presidency to like all the way down to society. Like there's a lot going on. Decorum is just out the door and out the window. And I kind of appreciate that. You know, I love that all the HR personalities are just completely out the window. You got Secret Service like fist fighting, and I appreciate it. I think it's fun.
All right, before I go on, I want everybody to place their bets, right? I'm gonna go around. What race y'all think they are?
Black.
Ooh.
Ratchet Christian?
You know what? To be fair, I'm going to say it's a mix. I think it's going to be multi-dynamic. It's going to be a mix. One of them is black for sure, but there might be
multicultural chaos. Enzo?
I'm gonna go Spanish. just because I'm a whoop.
Man, you ain't
gotta
play
her ass.
safe, man. You ain't gotta play
No,
safe.
I'm being for real. That's I'm thinking.
Okay.
They got into it because one was late to their shift.
I feel that.
I'm saying it's us.
You know they do that on the radio here. They do like guess what race it is, and they tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going with black on this one, just because it was somebody showed up late to their shift. All right, Enzo, what's your take?
I think it's hilarious. I'm just gonna stick with that. Like that's some shit you just see at like a regular job. People showing up late, they just want to leave or whatever. But I mean, it's embarrassing at the same time. It's hilarious and embarrassing because this is like Secret Service is supposed to be like the top tier of the police. Like, I get it. We all are unhinged in America right now, but we need like Secret Service. You got to show a little bit more, especially for an ex-president too. Like that's a little extreme.
Yeah.
That sounded like some newbie on the job to me, not somebody that should be protecting the former president.
Gray.
I used to work overnights at Walmart when I was in college. That's actually where I met Nora. So like, if people was late, I was hot because I had to go to college at 9 o'clock. So I got off at 7. I got to sleep for 30 minutes, and then I had to go to college. So if they would have said, "Hey, if you got to stay here," I would have been hot because I just had too much going on. So I understand the pain because it looked like it was nighttime. So if you work overnights and the day shift don't relieve you on time, that's the worst feeling ever. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, I used to do night out of there.
I did too. So
Hotel.
I feel that. I used to work night shifts too.
It wasn't worth the brawl though. All right, y'all want to know what I think happened here?
Give us a drum roll, Gray. You got the soundboard.
Do I got a drum roll there?
You're not gonna get in trouble. We're good here.
Hey, do I have one? I do got something there. We got one. I'm gonna say what I think it is. What caused this? DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We got some people working for the Secret Service that shouldn't be. That's exactly what's happening. If you haven't heard, they said that they are like recruiting really hard right now for the Secret Service in DC. They say everywhere around DC there's like billboards up saying join the Secret Service. So they just hiring anybody off the street, it seems like now.
You know what? Don't tempt me because I'll go over there and apply. I'm from that area. I'll go back home and be a Secret Service agent, okay? And I won't even fight.
To protect the president, I don't even feel like that should be a job you could just easily apply for. That should be like you got to work at law enforcement somewhere else, and then you can go there. That's horrible.
No, they broadcast. They everywhere. They probably they gonna go get some people out the Walmart night shift now.
Yeah, right.
Secret Service, if you watching, that's where you go.
You tired of catching shoplifters? People who lost their food stamps, come on to the Secret Service.
Come catch these fades at the Secret Service, okay? You ain't gotta catch shoplifters no more.
All right, what I got for y'all now? All right, man, that'd be so which way I want to go. All right, we're gonna go to Larry Hoover, man. Big Meech, Larry Hoover.
Which one? The real one or the Rick Ross?
Hallelujah.
What happened? Yeah. Oh, you better find what happened.
News: Trump just pardoned Larry Hoover. And if you guys don't know who Larry Hoover is, he's a gangster in 1988. Hoover received a life sentence, but his attorney argued that he should be resentenced under the First Step Act signed by former President Trump in 2018. Some viewed Hoover as a folk hero, while others questioned his responsibility for multiple unalivings. Hoover has a son named Larry Hoover Jr., who is also associated with the gangster disciples. Big, huge news for the hip-hop world and everything. Like, we know Trump has been partying. A lot of people we don't like. But I don't know what y'all thoughts about this one. Like, Larry Hoover. And if you don't know, Jay Prince from Houston just made a big shout-out to Trump, shouting him out, saying thank you for partying Larry Hoover. Big news.
So yes, he's out, or Trump has agreed to it, and I think there's some process that has to happen before they let him go. Enzo.
So I don't know much about Larry Hoover other than Rick Ross. I know he was a gangster and everything like that. Gray, I'm not gonna bite your style, but this is gonna be Trump's what he's known for is prison reform, and I'm all for it. I mean, if there's valid reasons to, I mean, yeah, just freeing him. Good for him, and it's gonna shut up the naysayers. It says he's racist. I mean, like look at the most notorious people he's freed: Kodak, Lil Wayne, Larry Hoover. I heard earlier that he freed NBA YoungBoy too. I don't know if that was true, but there he goes.
Hey, if Biden can pardon Fauci before anything happens, we can get them.
That part.
They ain't did as much damage as Fauci. Gray.
This is I'm obviously not a Trump fan, but this is the type of stuff that I like about Trump. That Trump is just so out there. Trump will do anything and everything he wants. And for me, this definitely is a W. Like Trump did a great job. Like Enzo said, like prison reform is one of the best things that Trump's doing. The first step at, and then he's like pardoning all these people. So I can't be a hypocrite and say, oh, like I'm against that when I feel like that's what the country needs. Is like people, we incarcerate more people than any other country, and we don't even have like the biggest population. But Enzo, to tell you who Larry Hoover is, he made the Gangster Disciples, and they have a lot of like information where it's kind of like actually good. I know they changed the name to something like that, but he created this gang, and then he's been accused of selling drugs and things like that, and then also a deletion of some people. But the reason I feel like it's good to free Larry Hoover because these young guys are running around in gangs. So maybe if you let that guy out that's older, maybe he can go out there and like say, hey, this is not the way. I got a life sentence. Like I'm gonna tell you that this is not what y'all want to be doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Ratchet Christian.
Well, I voted for Trump, and so I am a fan of most of the things that he does. Not everything, but most of the things that he does. And so this is just another one of the great things that he's doing. The one thing that I like about Trump, I feel like he is tapped into the culture. As much as people want to make it seem like, oh, he's racist, he was this and this and that. He didn't become racist until he ran for president. Trump has always been involved in Black culture, whether rappers were like referencing him in songs as like a metaphor for being rich or whatever it was. Like he hung out with Mike Tyson. Like he's always had his hand in Black culture in some way. And so even in his first term, like freeing Kodak Black and all that stuff, I think him pardoning Larry Hoover just further solidifies that it's not just a stunt. He's not trying to get the Black vote by doing that because he's already president. He has no real incentive to do that other than the fact that he thinks that, Larry Hoover has been reformed and should go back to the streets. And I do think he's been reformed and should be able to go back home to his family. I may be wrong, but I feel like Kanye and Kim were trying to free him at some point. Like they were heavy on that when he was doing his like Jesus walks type of situation. No, Christ is King like era. And when Kim Kardashian was on that like reform and stuff, a lot of people have tried to free him. And so it's nice to see that our president is using his power to do that. Now, I like all the pardons. I hope this doesn't then lean into like, well, then let's just pardon Derek Chauvin then, because then I will have a big problem with that because no, keep him in there.
Trying to start a whole debate now.
I'm here. No,
you don't like these guys because these guys are right.
I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree that Derek Chauvin should be locked up. I think he should be let out.
You don't agree that he should be locked up?
No.
I would love to hear more about why you feel that way.
Did you watch the video? He tried to keep the boy in the car. He didn't want to stay in the car.
He tried to keep George Floyd in the car?
Yeah, he should have stayed his black ass in the car. And then he get out and want to fight back and squirm like a worm all on the ground. Dude was just doing what he was trying to do. Like there should be some type of immunity in that situation.
But after
like, George Floyd was acting like his mama, being all loud. I just got pulled over by the police yesterday, right? In the new city I moved to, the police are like roaches in the hood out here. Like they do not play. Got pulled over because I got in the wrong lane. It was a bike lane. Thought it was the turning lane. New area. Pulls me over. I do it, windows down, 10-2, license on the dash. Guy comes up, asks for my license, give it to him, go back to the car. He come back. He's like, hey, I see you new to the area because I had a different out-of-state license plate. He was like, just be careful. It happens. Keep it moving. Now, if I'd have been like, all that, the wrong energy, of course that's going to happen. When you're dealing with the police, it's best to just shut up. Talk to the person that doesn't have a gun. My grandfather raised me on that. Mm-hmm. Who don't have a gun that you could talk to who has more power than the police? Mm-hmm. The judge. We can avoid a lot of situations by just being quiet, doing the basic things, show your ID, and go on about your business. Like, we got egos. Cops got egos too. Like, we're all humans. So the thing is, they got more power than you. So it's best to just be quiet at that moment. Listen to the authority. If they do something wrong, you can report it. So that's what I'm saying. George Floyd was just messed. He was all wrong in that situation.
Vogel's the only red pill guy on here, but he's the most red pill. So I want to go to these comments. Nora, this is the producer on the other show, the host on Tuesday, Thursday. She put he still has 50-year state charges. He ain't going nowhere. I did see that a judge is she talking about Larry Hoover.
Larry Hoover.
Oh.
And then she did a super chat. Gray will be wearing a MAGA hat by 2028. So I'm not at all, you know what I'm saying, MAGA, but Volker is, Enzo is, the other guys. I'm the only person on the left on this show on the man cave thing.
We've established your MAGA light.
Right.
Yeah.
You're coming forward every day. Every line.
Yeah, you got the trial version. That's what we said.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more in the center. I feel like I can be conservative leaning on some things and then left leaning on a little bit of things. You know what I mean? I try to just stand in the middle and listen to whoever's making the most sense, but that requires listening to both sides. And so, although I don't agree with your take, what's your name? Vulgar? Okay, Vulgar. Although I don't agree with your take, I can appreciate hearing it because it's not too often that you hear somebody that's on the side of it, especially hearing a Black man that's on the side of, I think George Floyd was wrong. And I think it's interesting, so.
And I think this is important to end with saying that we focus too much on what the police should be doing. Yes, they should be held to a higher standard, but with the Black fatigue and all that's going on, we need to focus more on what we should be doing. Mm-hmm. Like, we have this thing where a lot of Black people feel like because 400 years of slavery, whatever excuse it is, that we should be able to act out now with no consequence. And that's just not a thing. So to me, that's why a lot of us have these egos. We have something towards the police. We don't even know the person individually. We just have something towards the police. So it's tension from the start. So the reason why I don't get in line with that is because I'm like, we need to look at police differently. Yeah, there are a few bad apples, but for the most part, they're there for the good. If you watch the movie The Purge, that's the prime example. If we just say, hey, police don't do nothing. Matter of fact, it's going on. Go to any major city. The police don't care anymore because they don't want to go to jail for doing their job. So a lot of them are just chill out now. That could have been the reason the police let me go yesterday. I'm just saying. So we're not thinking about that. We got so much animosity towards the police. We're not thinking that we need them. And maybe we should act differently. Maybe there should be a different interaction.
What's your answer to this, Vulgar? What about over policing the Black community?
Yeah.
Shoot, they over crime in the community. So is there really a over policing? Because we're under fathering.
Well, what if we're under fathering because we're over policing, and because we're over policing, we're overfilling the jails, and so the fathers aren't there to parent? I'm in agreement with you in that we do, as a culture, need to have more respect for authority. If you don't have respect for authority, you can't thrive. You can't hold down a job. If you can't be okay with somebody telling you no, or, having respect to somebody that's older, then that's something that's going to affect you throughout your life. So I do think as a community, we need to do a better job in holding ourselves accountable and respecting authority. But I think this is the very first time that we've had a good look at what police are doing to the Black community and communities of color. Now, is it an overcorrection? I think it has been an overcorrection since BLM, but that kind of happens, when you had a whole society of people, people saying the police are abusing us and nobody believed them. And then all of a sudden in 2020, everybody finally understood what Black and brown people were talking about. Now it's almost like the overreaction where it's like people of color are always right and police are always wrong. And that's not necessarily the case. Both can be at fault in different situations. I think it's about coming more towards the center and knowing that both people should be held accountable if they do something wrong. I don't believe that police should get away with doing whatever it is that they want to, but I also don't believe that police should be disrespected. So it's just both people have to come back towards the center and have more common sense and respect to one another, because at the end of the day, we're people. Even if you're a police officer, you're policing people, and if you don't like the people that you're policing, you're going to have a heavier hand on them. And some people go into the policing for the wrong reasons, and so I think there's been a level of scrutiny on police that has been well deserved because they have abused their power. It's not unwarranted, but now it's like, how do we move forward? Because we do need police. In 2020, I marched, I held up the signs, defund the police, and now everything is locked up in Target. Now everything's locked up in Walmart. I can't get a toothbrush because it's behind the jail, and so we do need police, but we need good police. And so how do we get good police and not, bad
No,
ones?
that's the thing. We do have good police.
We need more.
Well, we have, I would say 99% of police are good. You got those select few, and then you got some, like in the George Floyd case, where they're being blamed for something when he did his job. Casualties happen. There's no guarantees of anything. This is like if you go to a gym, you got to sign a waiver in case you die on some equipment or something. Like, there are casualties. That's a dangerous job. So that's why I'm saying he don't need to be in jail. And I think they got rid of the technique that he used, which was legal at the time. To me, it was an emotional decision made by the jurors in the court, because they did say they stopped that certain maneuver. He didn't do anything outside of what he was trained to do. But I wanted to go back. I don't think there's any over policing, because the police are second. We got to get fathers back in the home. That's the biggest thing. If you don't have fathers, feminists, women, single mothers cannot raise boys. Matter of fact, they can't even raise women, because you got women out here who are 3 or 4 in it. And now twerking is they twerk like you bow and pray. That's what women, that's the new prayer now, is twerking. So what I'm saying is, until you get these fathers back and strong, I'm not talking about these old super soy boy liberal fathers who think the boy should be able to change his sex, the wife should be able to do what she want to do and run the household. No, I'm talking about a strong father who has standards, core values, and stick to them, and there's consequences when you disrespect under his household. So until we get that back, because fathers are the first police. If you handle your kid for the first 5 years, you had that strong male presence, they're going to grow up more than likely to respect the police. You're not going to have that problem. I know we got off subject, but I think it was important to hit on. So we got to stop looking at the police and start looking at the homes. But guess what? When we look at the homes, nobody wants to go back home. Nobody wants to cook anymore. A lot of men don't want to be monogamous. They want to be like the rappers and the football players and have all the women. Nobody wants to focus on family anymore, and that's the problem. Yeah. All right, speaking of broken homes, go to my next video. Remy Ma and Papoose.
To shit, Papoose. You really are. You have turned into a piece of shit. This shit right here, the gambling, the failures that you've had in your career or whatever that didn't pan out how you wanted to, has turned you into somebody else. If that was my friend, I would be like, girl, you just turned 30 years old. You are a world champion. You are accomplished. You have made it from out the ghetto, from the slums, from the depths of Flint, Michigan. You don't got no kids. You have your whole life ahead of you. Why are you attaching yourself to this 47-year-old man that doesn't have anything going, has no career, no job, no income, except for the income that he's claiming off of you, your percentage, because he's your manager? Got you out here talking, looking crazy. He's the one that don't want to sign, don't want to get his stuff out his ex house. Doesn't be there for his child that he begged for, but telling you he wants another one. Let me guess. He's telling you he want a son, right? He has a son. He has a son. He just doesn't like his son's sexual preference, so he acts like he doesn't have a son. He has a son. We have a son. I would be telling you, girl, get your ass from over there. What are you talking about? That's what I would be doing if that was my friend.
Who wanna go first? Y'all know about this situation?
Yeah, Papoose with the boxer chick, and then she upset, and then like he been beefing with her man. I know he shared a photo of her with the man on the Christmas photo, right? With the guy.
Yeah, is it the same dude? Easy to block captain, or is it another dude now? Okay,
the same dude. She was cheating with him, right?
Yeah. And he slept him.
To me, for her to be gone for what she said, 7 summers and 8 winters, whatever she said, and then for him to be with her that whole time, and people was looking at Papoose and Remy Ma like Barack and Michelle Obama, like, oh, this is the ideal black couple. This is what people want. So, like, for them to fall out apart like this is horrible. Me being divorced, and I was married for a long time. I was with a person I was with from high school, and then people are mad. People are upset. I give my baby mama everything she asked for. She still made my life miserable. So, women are just gonna be. Some people gonna be upset. They're gonna be mad that the relationship is over.
I'm gonna tell you. After y'all go, I'm gonna tell you why that is too. Enzo.
I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. I don't know really most of the context in it. So yeah.
Ratchet Christian. I like saying that for some reason.
Just rolls off the tongue, huh? I feel like they're just all too grown to be acting like that. Like, she's too old, he's too old. Like, it's just kind of like, if you guys are going to do this, then do it in private, because it's just embarrassing for all parties involved. Like, I don't think there is a winner in this situation. It doesn't make anybody look good. And I actually feel bad for Papoose, because I remember a time where people were looking at him like he's a simp. It's not very often that the man is in the position where he's holding down the woman that's in jail. And so for her to get out and do him like that, I just think, is disrespectful. It's sad. I feel like his ego is hurt. The whole prison jail thing, I'm gonna hold you down. That's not my scene. I can never do it. You go to jail, it's over. It's done. Okay. Like, that's not in me. And so to stop your life for 7 summers and 8 winters, and then to come out and this is how the girl is talking about you, I don't care what you did. It's wrong. And so, yeah, I feel bad for Papoose. I think Remy Ma is just too old to be acting like that. I think all parties are kind of giving bitter, like, just move on with your life. Talk about this in private. Like, let it be about your careers and your music. Start a business, like, open up a Subway. I don't care what you have to do. Like, y'all just shouldn't be doing this, because it gets to a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my take on it, Remy never really respected Papoose. I don't think she respected herself, honestly. Mm-hmm. And then her rap career is everything. I always say this, a lot of times when women have a career or something they're doing, that comes first. And then a lot of women are just entitled and toxic, right? So she never really appreciated Papoose. Everything he did I remember one time hearing where she told him he didn't have to come to the jail every day. He would go visit her every day and bring her food or whatever. And then finally she got to the point. She said this herself. She's like, you know what? You don't have to come every day. Mm-hmm. To me, that would have been a red flag. Because if you love somebody, you gonna look forward to seeing your person unless you up to something. You're getting sick of seeing this person, right? So what really happened, she didn't care. The family was there. She got back out, was in the streets. Her Papoose seen what happened. He left. A lot of times, I'm telling you, when women are done with you and they throw you in the trash, Gray, they want you to stay in the trash. They want you to be out on the curb. They want the trash man to come throw you in the truck and drive you to the landfill and put you in the incinerator or bury you at the landfill. They don't want nothing. They don't want nobody coming by and be like, ooh, I might can do something with this. Ooh, I might take this home and it'd be a nice piece of furniture. They don't want that. Because guess what? When they do that, you're proving them wrong. That's what's wrong. All Remy Ma hates right now is that she's looking bad. Papoose moved on, found a woman, and Clarissa is like, this is the greatest guy on earth, which is saying, Remy, you're the problem. Instead of putting your situation in the public and trying to drag this man down, just admit you were a 304 that didn't appreciate a good man. When all y'all women out here say all men are dirty and dog us out, that's why we act the way we act, because ain't no good men out here. Y'all are seeing in the public right now where a 304 has messed up a good dude.
For sure. If y'all are watching right now, subscribe and hit that naughty bell.
Hey, Gray, I noticed you do this after my rants.
He was like, we need a break. Let's give the audience a break. Everybody pause for some water.
Oh, man. So, anybody got anything to add?
I
or
would
any
say
rebuttals?
I would say that, I agree with some of that for sure. It's like Papoose was a good man, and it's like, and if you're not in a space, if you're in your life as a woman where you can appreciate that, you're going to do exactly what she's doing. I don't know. It's alleged that she cheated on him with the guy that she's with now, or maybe there was an overlap in the relationship, but it's like, to not have the integrity to hold down somebody that held you down when you were behind bars, it's like, it's a character issue, and there's nothing you can really do with somebody who has that type of character.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of us out there, and a lot of us guys, it goes under the radar. We don't talk about it, but a lot of us learning the hard way. I so hope Travis Hunter isn't next. I so hope that's a great situation. All right, let's see. I got anything left? All right, let's go to the main event. So we got, y'all know Trump's one big beautiful bill.
BBL. That's what we've all been calling it that. I don't know why.
BBL.
King said it. He goes, we just won't call it the BBL.
I'm gonna have to start using that one. So pretty much, the part of the bill that's driving everybody crazy is the cuts to benefits, SNAP, and Medicaid. So TikTok is in a frenzy right now, and I'm gonna play a video from that and come back and get y'all thoughts on it.
The dependent age from 18 to 7. So I just need to know in August, are we sending them back to school or are we sending them to work? Because if the dependent age is now 7, you trying to say they dependent. If I'm not mistaken, back in the day, they used to work at that age, right? So is he trying to tell us that they need to go back to work? Because I don't think Trump know that these kids ain't regular kids. These kids will flip out if they ain't got they tablets. Now, is we putting them in IT? Is we teaching them kids how to code? They might like that. We're going to have to figure out them some jobs because they ain't going to do regular jobs. They barely listen to them teachers. Like, these employers is about to catch hell. They going to be babysitters. And don't put me at the same company as my kids. I don't want to work with them. I already got to be with them at home. Like, y'all done already took them out of school, so now y'all want them to work. And then don't put them as the same company as me. Like, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Like, and how much is you paying these kids? Because if my 7-year-old he needs to get paid well. He can't work for pennies. So that ain't gonna work either. Then you can't even disrespect that people kids, cause now they gotta leave their job to go to this job. They gonna probably, oh my Lord, Trump ain't thinking this out. He ain't thinking this out clearly. And then the big families is definitely gonna get the most, like, to hit the most. Like all, like them single parents, they got like 8, 9, 10 kids. They gonna feel it the most.
Zach, stupid. Yeah, I picked this video because this is the nonsense that's being spread. People take these bills and just make what they want of it. So I'm sure, Enzo, you got some insight on this bill, right?
Oh yeah. So I've looked into what's being cut from Medicaid, what's being cut from SNAP. It's not anything that's really going to affect anybody. All they really did, the major thing was they upped the work requirement. So you have to work a minimum of 80 hours a month to get Medicaid and to get SNAP. And you have people crying over here that, oh, they upped the work requirements. I'm not going to be able to get this anymore. All these people that are crying are able-bodied people at the end of the day. You should be working regardless. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't feel bad for anybody that's crying about quote unquote losing your benefits because you're too scared to work. Where when I grew up in a single family household where my mom couldn't get benefits and she was working her ass off just to get by, and we couldn't get these benefits growing up. So I mean, I'm happy with the direction they're going because this is going to give benefits to the people who actually need it at the end of the day, not the people that are just completely taking care of the system. When they said we're going to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, this is exactly what they meant. There are people that are using the system, waste or fraudulent waste. So this is a great step forward. I think people just need to really just like open their eyes and actually look into the bill itself. Like I know it's a very long bill, but it explains it very, very easily. Like literally just take the text, put it into fucking chat GPT and be like, simplify this for me. And people will understand.
Yeah. Ratchet Christian.
I agree with Enzo in that I do think it's a good thing. And I can just see how the media, they just grab the headline of Trump is making cuts to SNAP and Medicaid. And most people are not going to do the due diligence to research it further. They're just going to, again, open up their phone, go on TikTok and make a rant about it without fully understanding. If the average person has to work 180 hours a month, it's not that much to work 80 hours a month. Like if you're working 80 hours every 2 weeks, like it's not going to kill you. And it's like, I'm a big believer. It's like you give a man a fish, then you have to keep feeding him. If you teach a man how to fish, then he can eat for the rest of his life. And I even have like a perspective on it because it's like, I work in social services. I work with this type of stuff and getting people connected to like benefits and all that. And, you know, I do feel like it's predatory in a way where it's like the system almost feeds on people who don't or can't take care of themselves. You know, you can have one person that's attached to 4, 5, 6 different agencies, you know, getting all of these benefits. And it's like, at what point is this person going to learn how to take care of themselves if they don't have to, if they're not being required to, if they're not being shown how to do it themselves? You know, I feel like it's a handicap, and this is an opportunity for people to kind of get up on their own 2 feet and take care of themselves, which is good in the long run.
Gray.
First, I want to shout out Zach is my boy Doc, one of my best friends. He's actually was a medic in the military. We was in Iraq together. He been supporting us and stuff, so I wanted to shout him out. As far as like my feelings on the bill, and specifically about the money, I want to talk about a study. They did a study, and it was basically to kind of understand conservative politics. They took a group of students and they said, hey, we're gonna have you guys take a test, and on this test, if all of you guys agree unanimously, we'll give everybody 100. And never did people agree unanimously for everybody to get 100, because there are people in the class that said, oh no, I don't want someone to get a better grade or a good grade because I could have got a better grade. So they don't want people to gain stuff because they don't feel like they deserve it. So I feel like that's the conservative mind frame, that it's just like, even if you could unanimously say, oh, okay, everybody can just eat, that you're not going to go with that because you feel like some merit a person needs to gain that ability to get government assistance. Now, do I feel like some people abuse it? Of course. Do I feel like maybe some illegal immigrants did it, applied? Sure. But I also think it's probably people that have like mental health diseases, can't work, or whatever other reason that they can't get employment and they need government assistance.
Yeah, he's not cutting that though. For if you're disabled, you can get it. It's only for the people out here who aren't working or got a million kids and trying to live on the system. I actually looked it up what the bill says, because they talking about the 7 years old. They try to change it into saying that at 7 the child stops being a dependent, and that's not what it said. It basically said, I'm gonna read it off. Under the newly passed law, parents or guardians receiving SNAP benefits are now required to work at least 80 hours per month if their youngest child is 7 years or older. Previously, this work requirement applied only to those with dependents or with older children. Notably, in married households, only one parent needs to work to meet this requirement, whereas single parents must fulfill it individually. And I like that too. I like that a lot of this stuff is encouraging marriage in two-parent households. And that was one of my biggest reasons for voting for Trump, because I knew a lot of the stuff that he was going to put in place, it would promote people coming back together. A lot of the stuff on the liberal side is geared towards single mothers, feeling sorry for them and trying to help them cover their mistakes. I don't agree with that. Let me see. And I have another video. Did y'all hear about the woman? I guess she was getting like thousands in food stamps. And I think she released a video telling people how to get it. And they basically came after her, and now she's facing jail time and got to pay.
No, I didn't hear about it.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. All right, let me play it.
Day 4. Day 4 of no food stamps. Day 4 of not being able to afford groceries for me and my 6 children. Because somebody decided to report my TikTok income to the state of Michigan. So they took my food stamps. Not only did they take my food stamps, my cash assistance, my disability checks are on hold. They're not going to pay my rent next month. They're not sending me a check for my utilities that I get every month. How the hell am I supposed to survive? All of my welfare benefits cut. So I go from over $10,000 a month in benefits that I've gotten for the last 13 years to zero. Zip. Zero. Not only that, they are expecting me to pay it all back since I've been making money on this app because of you guys, because the trolls. So now, since you guys are the ones that got everything taken away, I have over 230,000 followers. Okay, I need everybody to get together as a team and support me and my 6 children like you should be. Like a taxpayer is supposed to do. This is your fault.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen, I have to say this as the one member of the white delegation here. We do not claim her. She is not a part of our clan. We don't want her. That is an alien from Area 51 that escaped. That is not a real person.
No, I had to do that. Hey, Black Fatigue, we can't be the only people out here. I'm gonna have to put y'all on blast too. Y'all do a good job hiding it.
Yeah, I'm not part of them. We don't claim them.
Which we should be doing over here. That's what we should be doing over here.
Fixing her teeth. I don't think she had like any teeth up top. All you saw was the bottom. You
got to put that mess down.
Yeah, exactly. Calm down, Bethany. Her and her 6 kids.
But nah, that's a real thing, man. Man, I know so many people, and I don't know if y'all ever go. I don't know if this happened in y'all hoods, but I can go to the store in the hood sometime, and they be like, "Hey, man, you trying to get some food stamps?" Literally, like I'm telling you, it happens to me all the time. They literally trying to sell their food stamps for cash.
Mhm.
Like the system is out of control, and I'll be like, I'm good, and they're like, yo, I got a bunch of them, man. Like, you give me $100, I give you $300 in food, and I'm like, you're not going to buy food. They're like, I got enough already. Yeah, because they're getting a lot of this stuff.
Mhm.
And even the time I tried years ago, I could not get it.
The entitlement is crazy. It's crazy.
What'd you say, Ratchet?
I said the entitlement is crazy. You know, this is your responsibility. You guys have to fix this. It's like, but what about the man that put 6 babies in you? Where is he at? That's his responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, and then my whole thing is like, it's not enough to just get away with the crime, but to just have the audacity to get online and explain and brag about it, and then also try to teach people a course about how to do the same crime. It's like, had you just minded your own business and not mention anything, you would have been good. But that wasn't enough for you. And with somebody like that, you know, it's never going to be enough. Having more than $10,000 a month in assistance is crazy. And as you can tell, it's just warped her mind that she thinks that, you know, it's somebody else's responsibility but hers. Figure it out like how everybody else got to.
Yeah, I like what you just said about going back and find a man you had those 6 babies with. That's the biggest issue bogging down the government is the whole thing of it's like sex first. That's what we're pushing out here. Like, go have fun. Even now they tell the women, don't get married early, don't settle down, go to college, live your life, be a 304 until you're 32, and then talk about settling down and starting a family. But guess what? That's not what's happening. They end up in the streets because there's no discipline. Because if you got a father there, he's not pushing for that. Because I got 2. I got one that's grown, and I told her, you better find somebody early, so you can avoid STDs, so y'all can start to build, and you put away your money, and by the time y'all 30, y'all can have a retirement there, investments, and be cool. And that's what she did. But that's what's going on, and a lot of these women are just out here having fun. And Pookie, they ain't even vetted the dude out. They just know he was the captain of the football team or whatever, muscular. Don't care. He ain't even grown up yet. Most men don't even grow up till they 35. So that's what's going on. They trying to be equal in that area too. Oh, if a man can wait till he's 35, why can't a woman? Because a woman is born with her value. I don't know if you agree with this or not, but women are born with their value. Men have to gain experience. You can't just jump out the womb and lead. You got to go through some things. You know what I'm saying? To lead a household, to lead your wife, to lead your kids, you got to go through some things and come back. But guess what? A woman, you look good. You're going to have better babies when you're younger. And, you know, you're not required to lead anybody but the children under the guide of your husband. Right? So to me, it's like we got to get back to that.
What I would say is, like, no matter if you're in a trailer park, you're in the projects, wherever, you can go have people that's hustling. So she was hustling. She was on TikTok. She was getting some money. That's a W-9. So she don't got to report the tax. She can just not file the taxes and get her government assistance. So a lot of these people feel like, okay, I'm going to get on government assistance. Then I'm going to grind till I can get where I'm at, or I'm just going to survive off of this. So, I mean, I know it's messed up to some degrees, but it don't matter if you're white, black, Chinese, or whatever. I mean, people go hustle. You put people in any type of situation, they go find a way to get out of that situation. They go find a way to get some money.
Hold on, Zach. You saying I'm a cult leader?
Not a cult leader.
You said, first of all, thank you for your service. Secondly, I'm the cult leader for telling people to be responsible. I'm the cult leader for telling you how to avoid AIDS, how to avoid being on child support, how to do things right. And I'm a cult. That's what's wrong with our community right now. Mm-hmm. Is the people that's out here speaking good shit, y'all want to dog them out.
Facts.
This is crazy. And I get this all the time. I'm the one that, I'm crazy. And it's because the people in the psych ward are running the country now, or was. I'm glad Trump is in office. But socially, on the media, everybody in the psych ward is running legacy media and is running the liberal party. And that's what's wrong with y'all. We got to get back. Like I said, all these cities are hot now. They keep talking about AIDS is going up everywhere.
Yeah.
And you come in here and say something like that.
Well, Vulgar, let me have
in a culture where 80% where women initiate 80% of divorce, it's irresponsible to you need to find the right woman. If you get with a woman who don't appreciate you, yes, she's going to leave you. But if you work to build yourself and you find a woman who ain't got a BBL and backlashes, she actually appreciates men, she has denounced womanism and feminism, you probably got a high success of having a good marriage. Starting a business is risky. 95% of businesses fail. It's the same thing. You take a risk. You got to find the right woman. And I agree with you. Yes, we should change the divorce laws. But until that's done, we got to choose better.
Ratchet, what you was about to say to
him? As the only woman in the panel, I would like to, add my 2 cents in that, I am recently married. I got married 6 months. Thank you. And so I'm for marriage. I'm for family. And I think what's missing in this conversation is that we're all, or at least I was, right, trying to do relationships without God. Once I decided to go back to the foundation, I'm a Christian, it's there in the name. Once I started to read the Bible and align myself with what it is that God had to say about dating and relationships, because he designed it. It was his original intent. And so when I was trying to figure out dating and relationships on my own, I was getting it wrong. I was going after all the wrong guys. I was out in the streets. I was getting hurt. Once I decided to be like, you know what, God, I know what your word says about sex and that it's for marriage. I, gave my life to Jesus. And after that, I was celibate for 7 years before I got married. I decided that sex is for marriage. I know that I'm not baby mama material. I'm somebody's wife. And I feel like out of all the ailments that happen in society, that happen to people who come from broken homes, and the system feeds on children who don't have good families and good parents. And so for me, I was like, I want to have what it is that I didn't have, and that's an intact family. And the best way for me to do that is to shut down the sugar shack. If you don't put a ring on my finger, you're not putting me in your bed. You're not making me a mother before you make me a wife. And I feel like, if there was a more emphasis on marriage, biblical marriage, healthy Christian marriage in the eyes of God and not how we see it, then we would have more success in marriage. And so for me, I waited until marriage with my husband. We didn't come to marriage as, virgins, but we decided to give our life to Christ. And it's through him that we've been able to build something happy, successful, and healthy. And we can plan to have our children. We've sat down. When do we want to have kids? Where do we want to be when we have them? How much do we have saved up when we have them? Like, we want our children to know that we prepared for them. And marriage is the foundation for that. And Christ is the foundation for marriage. And so I just wanted to add that in there, because it's like we're trying to do love without God, and God is love. And so that's why we get it wrong most of the time.
Amen, Ratchet. I think you need to pray for Vulgar.
I will. I will. But I understand, though, because it's like you're still for marriage. And it's like what you're saying is not wrong. I feel like our first act of protest as Black people is to have strong, healthy, complete families. If there's a man in the home, that protects you from so many different things. If you have a good, strong leader that's God-fearing, you're safe as a woman. You're safe to mother. I'm not a feminist. I'm not for the feminist movement. I think it's ridiculous. I think it hinders women. But I could go on about that, but yeah.
Yeah. And no, I agree. I have a spiritual side, but I also realize that there are more than you got Allah, there's different branches. So I try to speak to everybody. And what I always tell people, like, religion is like a broker, right? Sometimes some people just can't do right unless they have God. Like, they have that fear, that respect of God, and they do right. Then there's others like me. I have I have core values and standards, and I go by those, because anytime I break one of my core values or standards, I get bit in the ass every time. Like, if I make I say I never make a decision out of being desperate. And the moment I do it, it come back and bite me. So it's just certain things. That's why I try to preach, like, just for men, especially, since we're supposed to lead, have a set of core values and standards. If you need to know what that is, download Chat GPT. I hate to say it, digitally, or read your Bible. But Proverbs is a great book for core values and standards, and that's where I got a lot of mine from, was the book of Proverbs. So yeah, that's what we preaching here. And hey, if I'm a cult leader, I'm a cult leader. Damn it, I'm trying to bring Black people back together, because this fatigue is real out here.
Ratchet, this is a question for you. Do you have a prenup?
Do I have a prenup?
That's what Kamal is a friend of the show. He said that God leads you to have a prenup. Just asking for the chat.
No, I don't have a prenup because I'm all in. I don't have a backup plan for if my marriage doesn't work, because I'm gonna give it 110%. And we've talked about it. I'm a comedian. I'm in the entertainment business, so it's not like something ridiculous. My husband and I did talk about it, but it's like, you know what? I don't want to go into marriage with a contingency plan. I want to give you everything, and I expect you to give me everything. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I'm going to believe that God's going to, keep us in marriage and in this covenant until we stand in front of him.
Can we get a joke?
Can you get a what?
A joke. You're a comedian.
That's not how it works.
For sure.
Put you on the spot. Oh, I always like to say this too when we talk about prenups. I'm gonna make it quick. If y'all thinking about prenups, don't let either party, I'll mostly say the woman, but either party, always have two lawyers. If you signing a prenup, don't just sit down at the table and say, hey, we're gonna all write this down and agree, because you got to know what the courts look at. This is the thing with Travis Hunter. A lot of people don't know. This is just my suspicion on the situation. They got married in Tennessee. Tennessee is the top state to throw out a prenup. Tennessee does not care about prenups. They probably use it some of the times, but if his wife going there with a good story, that prenup is no good. Mm-hmm. They consider themselves an equitable state. So if you sign a prenup that says, hey, you leave with nothing, Tennessee is going to override that and say, no, we're equitable. So if she get the kids, she get this house, that car, this, and you walk away with that. Y'all got to understand your state laws. And I'll get at to Zach when he's talking about prenups and marriage and stuff. Yes, if you're going to do it right. Know what your state requires. Don't just sit down and sign a prenup with the other party, because you're probably going to get played.
For sure. Ratchet Christian, you're very intelligent. Thank you for coming. You gave us a lot of good information. What are your final thoughts, and what did you think of the Man Cave?
Well, thank you for all of your kind words. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed our intelligent conversation. I appreciate all y'all's different perspective and opinions, and allowing me to speak. And I like the Man Cave. It's nice to kind of be a fly on the wall in men's conversations, and to see how y'all think and perceive things, and then also get to add a woman's touch and perspective to it. And so I loved it. I enjoyed myself, and I appreciate y'all having me.
For sure. Enzo, what's your final thoughts?
So, like always, like I say, it's always a great episode. Appreciate you coming, Ratchet Christian. I was glad to hear your insight. We talked about quite a bit different things tonight. Most importantly, I'm just happy with the direction that the Trump administration is going with the with this with the bill and everything like that on the SNAP benefits and Medicaid, and hopefully we can actually get these benefits to people who actually need them. And no, that's really all I got tonight.
For sure. My final thoughts are: it was a good show, guys. It was nice to like have a woman's perspective on the topic. So thank you for coming, Ratchet Christian. We'll definitely have to have you back, and congratulations on your marriage. Like I said, Trump does some things that I like. I like what Trump did today, so I wasn't hard on the guys about what's going on. We got a lot of stuff going on the man cave and on the new party. So you guys just keep rocking with us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and that's all I got to say. Volker, what's your final thoughts?
All right, so if y'all been on SNAP benefits, all that for forever, get your ass up and get a job and work. And for the men that's because I ran across a bunch of men, I actually did a video on this too. Bunch of men that's online complaining about Trump's big beautiful bill, the benefits, and all that stuff that they say he's taking away. If you're a grown ass man, you do not need to be on George Bush's internet complaining about the government not giving you any money. Get your ass up and work. Man cave.
For sure. All right, you guys have a good night. I'm going to play the outro.
Hey guys, we've got something big coming up. We're headed in person to cover the Diddy trial on June 2nd and June 3rd, and we need your help to get there. As you know, we are now celebrating our 1-year anniversary, so it's an exciting time for us. We'll be making exclusive in-life content, interviews, updates from the courthouse, and behind-the-scenes moments you won't see anywhere else. This is about more than just one case. It's about getting the truth out there, accountability, and bringing our community real, unfiltered coverage straight from the front lines. If you rock with what we do and want to support independent media, hit the link below and drop something in the Cash App. Cash App below. Please support us. Every dollar counts. Travel, lodging, care. And we're doing this for the new party team. For always supporting us. Let's make some noise.